guys, I'm back again, and today I kind of have sort of an update, but also kind of a tutorial. I'm working on making an end card graphic right now, and I'm going to be shooting a lot of elements in front of a green screen. So I thought I could take this opportunity to show you guys how to do some basic 3-point lighting and shoot things against a green screen. I'm going to use my classic archer toy from the film Small Soldiers. A lot of you are probably way too young to even understand what that is.
Greetings. I am Archer, emissary of the Gorgonites. What is your name?
I'm Alan. Now shut up. Gotta do my homework.
If we take a look at the shot as is right now, you might be able to tell that, oh, this doesn't look very good, but you might not know why. So the only source of light right now is our ceiling light in this room. And what's happening is it's hitting our subject from above, and it's causing a lot of unpleasant shadows to just fall across the face and makes it look too dark in some areas and just flat and washed out in other areas. Another disadvantage to only using your room light is most cameras need a lot of light to get a clear image. So right now, what I have to do to actually get a well-exposed image is I have to crank up the ISO, which is digitally making the image brighter, which introduces a lot of noise, what looks like pixelation in the image. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is get rid of that overhead light. So the first light you're going to need in your 3-point lighting setup is the key light. Now, the key light, as you can probably infer from the name, is the main light source in a shot. This is a professional film light. It's an RE650, which is much brighter than the overhead room light. So we're getting a plethora of light hitting the image, and we have to actually take the camera ISO down. Keep in mind that you don't actually have to have professional lights or anything to get started. Just any household lamp or anything is gonna do you just fine as long as you still kind of apply these basic principles. I'll show you guys how to achieve this with normal household lamps and stuff some future video. But for now, I'm gonna stick to more of the theory behind why we light things the way we do. So now I've taken my ISO on my camera down to 100. And now when we take a photo, the image looks very clear. The color looks better. The shaping of the light makes the subject stand out from the background a lot better. But as you can see, there's kind of a problem. We have a really good amount of light hitting here, and it is bringing a lot of depth by creating shadow on what is called the fill side of the subject right now. But the problem is we don't actually have any fill light going there. We have too much shadow in this case. Sometimes you're gonna want that much. You're gonna want that kind of noir or really like high contrast image look, and that's cool. But really what we're going for is we want to see more detail in those shadows. So the rule of thumb is generally that you want your fill side to be half as bright as the key side. Right now it's maybe like a fourth. There's pretty much no light hitting there directly. What you can do is you could set up a whole nother light. You can space that further away, or a dimmer light to bring more back into these shadow areas. But really the simplest way to achieve this, especially on this scale, is just to bring in what we call bounce. In this case, it is gonna just be this piece of styrofoam I have laying around. When we bring in this white bounce board, you start to actually see some details back in that area. To easily tell that you're achieving this lighting setup, what you're trying to create is essentially a line down the face of the character, and you can differentiate one half from the other, one being the key light side and the fill light side being less intense. These are the main ingredients in the 3-point lighting system. The final light that we're going to introduce is called the backlight, or some people refer to it as a rim light, and you'll see why in just a second here when we turn it on. For our backlight today, I set up an RE150 and I have it hanging behind the subject. And now, as you can see, turning on our backlight has illuminated the back edges of the character. It's not always necessary, but it does help to bring a little more definition to the outline of a character, especially if you have a darker background. Lighting is all about the contrasts of the darkest parts of your images and the lightest parts of your images And that's kind of what makes things interesting to look at, is the separation and the outlines and composition of that. And as for the green screen, really generally what you want to do is you want to make sure that your green screen is evenly lit and that the green isn't casting any light back onto your subject, because you don't want green from the green paper or the green wall or the green sheet that you're using to reflect onto your image, because that's going to make it harder for you to actually separate your character off of the green screen when you go into editing. If you have green spilling onto your character, it's going to take chunks out of the character when you try to take the green out. And bringing in the backlight also can help separate the subject away from the green screen. Right now I have a magenta filter on my RE150, so the difference in that color temperature will also help to separate from the green cast of whatever reflections we're getting from that green screen. So this is all looking pretty good. This is basic 3-point lighting. We have key light. When I put this back up here, we have a fill light to whatever degree we want it to. You know, if you put it closer, it's going to make the difference between your key and fill smaller. So you're gonna have a lot less shadow on your subject. And if you move it further back, you know, you can really tweak that as much as you want. It's all subjective. Whatever the look you really want to go for, these are just the tools to help you achieve that. As for what I'm going for today with my end card, I actually kind of want my key light to be softer. As you can see right now, there's some harsher shadows going on, and the light hitting the character is very intense. And I kind of want to soften that up, and I'm going to move my light back a little bit. I'm also going to move my diffusion flag a little further away so that the light is actually diffused more throughout the area. So if you take a look at the before and the after, before, harsher shadows, key light was a little more intense on the key side, and now the difference is a little less drastic. Overall, softer quality of light, and this is more of the look that I wanted to achieve today. If you guys are interested in learning more about 3-point lighting, I really highly encourage everyone to go out and look up more tutorials. You can find a ton on YouTube, and there's reading material about it online. I'll put a few links in the description of some of the sources I think are pretty good. Alright guys, that's all I have today for this tutorial/update, and I'm going to take the rest of the images I need for my end card, and I'll see you next time.
If you wanna be the best, you got to move and motivate.